machine images is clear. Now let's move to instance types and families. So for instance types and families, right? So let's come here, instance types and families. So there is some segregation. Okay. So I will send that link to you. Okay. Also, so instance types and families, how we decide instance type. So let's say you want to go for, okay. So again, instance type depends upon your need. What is your need? So let's say you want to have balanced CPU memory. Matlab you are not worried. Your application will consume minimum same almost similar CPU and memory. Ka ratio is similar. In that case, what you will go with? T series, right? T series or M series, correct? Where you will get balanced CPU and memory. So let's see this how. So I am okay. Instances. I'm going to launch an instance. Okay, and let's say I'm getting an option, right? Amazon machine images. Okay, and instance type I'm getting, right? You guys can see here instance type, guys. Okay, so when I'm seeing T series, right? You see one CPU 5 GB memory, T2 micro. Okay, now let's do C2 micro, C2 dot micro. Compare instance type. Now let's say I want to go with C series. Okay, C. Okay, now you see here C4 dot large. Okay, so the minimum one we get is C4 dot large, C4 dot this. So basically, if you see here, right? So general purpose is like where you get mix of balanced CPU and memory. But when you go for compute optimized, means you want high CPU, right? So in that case, you see the CPU number of CPU will go high. You see slowly that. So you are getting one memory, one CPU here. But the moment I'm coming to C4 large, right? You see, you're getting 2 CPU, minimum 2 CPU, 8 CPU, 16 CPU, 36 CPU. So the ratio of CPU versus memory, right? CPU will keep on increasing. Okay. So you can have higher number of CPUs when you want higher number of CPU, or when your application wants to have higher number of CPU, right? In that time, you will decide, okay, you will go with compute optimized. Let's say your application needs higher memory. Okay, your application is very memory intensive and it wants to have higher memory. At that time you will have high RAM, or you need high RAM, right? So at that time you will be deciding what? We will be deciding R series, right? Instance type equal to, let's say, R5 or R. So you see the memory for 2 CPU, you are getting how much memory? 16 GB, right? So the memory is more here. Now if I give C5 dot large can you guys see the difference? What is the CPU and memory for C5 dot large? 2 and 4, right, guys?
Yeah, 2 and 4. Yeah, 2 is CPU, memory is 4.
Let's do for R5. R5 dot large, what is the memory? Suddenly it became 16, right? So when you want higher memory, right? In that case, you will go with memory optimized. Now, when you want high storage, okay, like let's say you are writing high data, right? So in that case, if you come, right, I series is there. We have it in another page. Kya? C D 4 5. Just a minute. Huh? Okay, see this. So the storage you see 475 GB, i3 dot large. Okay, so for i3 dot large, what is the storage we are getting? 475 GB. Now let's say I want to go with M5 dot large. What is the storage I'll get? There's no storage at all.
No
Right?
storage.
Correct. So depending upon this, you just need to remember few things, which is like whether my application is going to be general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, storage, or I want something like, in the era of AI ops and all this, people are using this high GPU wala machine. So in that case, you have P4D, G5 and all this. And then you have high performance cost, extreme compute or extreme network. Okay. Usually as a DevOps engineer, we fall, or we do under these things until unless you're into AI and all. You do general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, and storage optimized. So whenever you are going to launch any instance, right? Like let's say you want to launch an instance, you need to decide the instance type. So what we do for POC point of view and all, I mean for learning point of view, we simply select anything. But you do usually you should come here and you should select appropriately as per when you are working for company or when you're just gonna decide that what my application's instance type should be. You should be thinking how your application is. Let's say, is it compute optimized? Is it memory optimized? Is it general purpose? So based on that, you take the call. Okay. So instance type and families is clear. Now instance pricing model. Okay. So we'll come to this instance pricing model. Okay. So see, pricing model is again, it is like what kind of instance you are using. Okay. So what is on demand? On demand is like, like let's say you want to have certain, so understand this part very clearly because a lot of time we don't get it. Okay. So what is on demand? On demand is like, it is like, let's say I want today 50 instances. Okay. So I will provision them as on demand. Okay. When you say on demand, your pricing model will be like, let's say, take the example of, okay, let's say you are going to any, you have a, uh, you are going to, some kirana shop or, some grocery shop. Okay. And there you want to purchase based on the need, right? And immediate need. So when you want something as immediate need, right? Whatever will be the price, okay, you'll pay, but the flexibility you will get is maximum, right? You got it today. Once your work is done, you removed it. Okay. So for example, wanted to eat something, went, ate, khatam, right? But when we come to reserved instances, right? So reserved instances where you have to decide in advance, okay, like let's say for 1 year, I want to go and I want to, is the font too small? Okay. This is important, guys. Like interview may you will be, I mean, I see a lot of people get confused here. Okay. So let's say I want to run my application for 1 year. Okay. And I have decided that, the minimum instances I'm gonna need is 100. Okay. 100 EC2 instance. So if I provision them, if I provision them, if I provision this instance also, okay, 100 EC2 in on demand, my cost will be higher, right? Make it interactive.
Yes, yes.
Correct. 100 EC2 का cost will be higher. Whereas if I go with reserve instances, I have to pay lesser price. Why I have to pay lesser price? The question is why I have to pay lesser price? Why AWS will give me at lower cost?
Because this will become fixed.
Kind of fixed rental, yeah. They
Yeah,
are
you are booking an hotel per day, you have to pay more. Now you're taking it for month. So the owner is guaranteed ki bhai, I will be getting rent for
Yes.
month. Correct. So the AWS, it's a better for AWS, right? AWS is getting a commitment
Yes.
from you that you will be using for 1 year. Okay. But we have to be very clever here. If we don't use for 1 year also, then also we have to pay the same amount, which we have discussed. Correct. So we should be keeping those in, we should be selecting reserved instances only when we know that okay, minimum number of instances we gonna need is this much. Okay, and this much workload will be fixed. Okay, now I have a question. I am running sale 5 times in a year, okay, or 10 times in a year. Okay. Now for those 10 times, what I am doing is every time I have to procure 50 instances extra. Okay, and those instances are gonna stay with me for next 3 days. Okay, so overall in a year, like 30 days, I need 50 instance per day. Isn't it better to get it through reserved instance? Correct? We should get it through reserved instance, right?
But
for
only for 3 days that you are telling.
on for a spot, it will be a spot instance, right?
No, spot, you don't go there. Spot instance, I'll come there. The
No,
question is between.
if you are not, so so whenever you need for once a year or twice a year, thrice
No,
a
let's say
year.
I want 10 times. I want to run sale. I'm trying to confuse you guys. Okay, but let's answer this as an interview question. Let's say I am running a sale, 10 sale in a year. One sale stays for 3 days. Okay. So how many total number of days? 30 days, right? Per day I need 50 extra instances. Okay. 50 extra instances, right? Okay, 50 extra instance will run, okay, on each day of the sale. Okay, now what will be my category, or what category I should go to procure those 50 instances? Shall I make it as reserve instance or on demand instance?
It's a daily fix. I know that it will be fixed. I'll go for reserve instance.
Okay, it is fixed that 30 days I want to go with sale. Go ahead, Dishi, you want to answer?
Yeah, I also wanted to say the reserved instance.
So, okay, let me write down the question. So 30 days ka sale is there. Okay.
But 30 days is not the like continue 30 days, no?
Yeah, it will not be continued 30 days because I'm running sale in different, like Independence Day ka sale. I'm running Durga
Yes.
Puja sale, the Diwali sale. So in that case, reserve instance will be a better option.
Mm. On demand would be the better one because might be the sale goes like during this 3 days, let's say for one season, or else
Hmm.
let's say for Independence Day. So only for 3 days. So it is like if we are going with the reserve instance that each and every time, like do daytime, nighttime, each and every time we have to keep the server in a higher state. Okay, but if we are going with the on demand, that time we can reduce the number of instances as well. We can keep some kind of rules in the ASG.
Correct. So now the question which you guys answered is okay. So those of you who were telling reserved instances, right? Are you clear, or you want explanation? See this. You see this term here, guys? Is my screen visible?
Yes, Kumar.
Yes,
1
Kumar,
month to 12 month, 12 month to 36 month, right? Now, if I go for 1 month to 12 months, right? If I go for 1 month to 12 month, right? Still I have to pay. It means it is static. But as Prabodh rightly said, we are not sure, right?